If your placenta is buried in this country, if your destiny is attached to this country, then you need to bring out your books, you need to bring out your jotter, you need to bring out your pen, because this is the opportunity for you to listen. I bring you news from Canada. Hello, folks. This is your one and only Waka Waka Doctor. Always bring you the best gist when it comes to moving abroad. On this channel, we share information that has to do with living, working, and moving abroad through different pathways, whether it's through your career or job opportunities, through the academic pathway, or even through the permanent residency pathway. Everything, so long as it has to do with travel, this is where you want to be. If this is the first time of you coming across my channel, I want to say it is not by mistake. You are definitely you are in the right place. Okay, you have nowhere else to go. And for those who have, you are returning subscribers, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in again. I always bring you juicy gist. Two things that I like to pass across before I tell you what I've got for you today is, number one, I am not on WhatsApp and I'm not on Telegram. So if you go through the comment section and you see people saying, come and contact me through WhatsApp, come and contact me through Telegram, it is not me. The only way to reach me is in the comment section of this. It's in the description box of this video, and I will show you how to find the description box. The description box is where the information about the video is, and that's where you'd find details of how to contact me. Number two is that a few months ago, I wrote a book that's titled Move Abroad by Force. The idea behind the book is that if you want to move abroad on your own and you don't need all these agents that put you into trouble, and you want to do it on your own, you want cheap alternatives to move abroad, you want how to move abroad without a degree, you want how to move abroad without a job offer, you want information that would help you do it on your own, just buy that book, and the book is very affordable. It's not much at all. So if you want to acquire the book and get the book, all you need to do is go to the description box of this video, click on the link to buy the book, and the book will be yours. Okay, it's a read online book. You read it online and you get all the information. All right, guys, look, of all the countries in the world, 196 plus countries, one country remains the pinnacle, the top of everybody's destination choice. A lot of people, when you ask them, what country do you want to move to? They are definitely going to mention this country. So if your placenta is buried in this country, if your destiny is attached to this country, then you need to bring out your books, you need to bring out your jotter, you need to bring out your pen, because this is the opportunity for you to listen. I bring you news from Canada. Canada. Yes, we're talking about Canada today, and Canada is possibly the only country that has more than 200 different pathways to go in. So it doesn't matter who you are, you can get into Canada. And as always, I always love to bring people who have much more expertise than I have to come and share how they, can help people. Come and share the information that you don't have so that you can also use it on your own. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite my guest. Today, it's not a woman, so that you guys will stop commenting and saying, this woman is beautiful. They have beautiful smile. So I decided to bring a guy just like me. Hello, do you want to...
Good to have you, my brother. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Quickly, can you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, and where you are.
Okay, so my name is Oludayo Shokumbi, popularly known as D1, Olu D1. On Twitter, on Instagram. I am a PhD candidate in Concordia University here in Canada. I also do a lot of other stuff. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. I'm also a travel enthusiast. I'm a motivational speaker. Everything joined together, everything. And when I came to Canada on a fully funded PhD scholarship to Concordia University, and prior to that, I left Nigeria, went to Saudi Arabia for fully funded scholarship in Saudi Arabia. And then when I was done in Saudi Arabia, I got another funding to come to Canada, and that's where the real story now began. And Canada has been a home to me. It has afforded me a lot of every other opportunities. From here, I've been able to move to other places too. So yeah, so that's just basically
There you go,
Everything
guys. You've heard the brief introduction from the horse's mouth himself. So let's get to the gist. I have my notepad ready that I want to jot a few things. So Canada is top of the list when people want to move abroad. Most of people, when you ask them, where do you want to go to? It's Canada. And you and I know that Canada has a lot of pathways, and that's why we're doing this video today. You are in Canada. You've helped more than 1,500 people with the great work you're doing at Jackpot Consults. Talk to us about the different pathways and how, because I believe that anybody can move to Canada if you except you are lazy. But so long as you have a brain, you have a skill, you have a degree, even if you don't have a degree, you have a skill, anybody can enter Canada. So talk to us about the different pathways that are available for people to come into Canada.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. So for Canada has over 100 pathways, more than 200 pathways, it's just that the ones that are really common are the ones that we talk about based on people's choices and availability. The number one pathway and the commonest, if I can use that word, is schooling. Anybody can school in Canada, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your background. What's important is the money. So for schooling in Canada, on the average, the tuition fee in Canada is around 15 to 20,000 Canadian dollars. And for anybody that wants to come to Canada, you can come using a diploma, a postgraduate diploma, a graduate diploma, master's, PhD, and even undergrad. I know one of my friends who came here to undergrad, even though she had a bachelor's degree before. So Canada, for schooling, what's important is the money and also the proof of fund and also your home ties and also your explanation, because getting admission in Canada and getting visa, they are two things that are not concurrent, so they don't relate at all. If you want to come to Canada, 15 to 20K should be your budget per year. And Canada says that if you do a 2 years program, either a diploma, a master's, if it's at least a 2 years, you can get a 3 years postgraduate work permit. If you do a 1 year program, you get a 1 year postgraduate work permit. And because of Africa, where we all come from, money is not really available. See, a lot of people usually say, oh, maybe I can do a 1 year program. Yes, that's good, but it depends on provinces. That would explain which 1 year program will be beneficial to you. What's important? One, make sure the school you're applying to is a designated learning institute, DLI, meaning that it's recognized by the government. Two, make sure the school has a postgraduate work permit. These two things are very important if you want to strive in Canada, because if they don't have DLI and they are not postgraduate, they don't have postgraduate work permit, you may not be able to get a work permit that will allow you transition into permanent residency. That's very important. So let's assume you do a 2 year program, 15K average, 15K times 2 years, that's 30K Canadian dollars. So 30K Canadian dollars today is around 21 million on the average naira. And so, and then after that, you have to have your proof of fund for 1 year. On the average, you alone is around 10K Canadian dollars, which is not even enough. Government is saying 10K, depending on your area. It could be 10, it could be 8. I tell people 20K because living expenses is now very, very expensive. So if somebody is following you, if you have a dependent, the first dependent 5K, second dependent 3K, depending on the province. This is just on the average. So you could see that if you are going to Canada, it's a lot of money. But what's important is this: make sure your 1 year tuition fee is available and your 1 year living expenses is available, that you can explain while applying for your visa. That's the one problem people they usually have. That's one. Two is that make sure that wherever the money is coming from is well explained. The people that can sponsor you are yourself, any blood members. Anybody after that, your chances are really limited because you have to be explaining. You don't have evidence.
No evidence.
That's another problem. Also, your home ties. If you have maybe properties to show that, because ordinarily you are supposed to go to Canada and come back. So the transitioning is because of the availability that Canadian government has put out. Countries like US, people in Australia, they come to Canada, they don't even do postgraduate work permit, they collect their degree and go back to their house. So we in Africa are concerned about the transitioning. That's why we are saying that go to a school that has postgraduate work permit. So on the average, 20, 25, 30K should be your budget depending on the school. For diploma, anybody can do a diploma. If you have a 2-2, you have HND. If you have a third class, you can do a diploma. I still posted it on my Twitter page last week. You can do a diploma in Canada. But if you have a 2-1 and you are looking for scholarship, there are processes for that. You have to send emails to professors in different schools. A professor must be willing to take it. If not, even if they collect your application fee, you may not get scholarship if they don't have anybody to attach you to. That's why you have to be careful if you're applying for masters. In Canada, you have masters by research, you have masters by thought, coursework, where you can pay and get your master's degree. And then we have PhD. To PhD, somebody must tell you to come. A supervisor must tell you to come. That's why if you have publications, yes. If you have research experience, GRE, these are the things that can, increase your chances of getting scholarship in Canada. But a lot of people will not get scholarship in Canada because Canada has on the average 500, 600 schools compared to US. And so the competition is really, really more. So I tell people that go get your money and come to Canada. So that's for people that wants to come through schooling. Let your budget be around 25-30 M with this current rate. Today, 6th of October, 2023. It's very, 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 very important. That's one way. Another way, what if you are around 30 years of age, 30 plus or minus, you have a master's degree and you can do IELTS and you have 3 years verifiable work experience in a NOC code that is NOC A, B, C, or NOC 0A and B, depending on what your own course itself. So you need to, if you have that kind of experience, why not join the Express Entry? Express Entry is the easiest, but easiest in terms of application, but not easy in terms of when they will call it because it's competition. Everybody is swimming in the pool. So the things that can increase your chances are that if you want to have 480, 490, you must, batch the IELTS general exam. You must have at least, in my opinion, gap 8.5, beat the listening, reading beat at least 7.5, writing at least 7.5, reading at least 8 or 8.5. You are 30 years of age, you have 3 years work experience, your score is fine high. But if you are more than 30, it doesn't matter. It's just that after 30, your point reduces by 5 points. And you can always complement it. For example, if you have a sibling in Canada, they'll give you points. If you have LMIA job, to give you points. If you have a certificate of notification from a particular province, it will give you points, which I'm going to. So this is the general federal express entry skilled worker program. The Canada, you see that every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on the Canadian government, you just go to the pool and call people. So, but when you are applying for the express entry, when you enter the express, it will ask you, which province do you like to come to? Choose everything. You know why? Because there's something called provincial nomination, where provinces from different places provinces in Canada go to the pool to check eligible candidates that meet their demand as at that time. So, for example, in British Columbia, they have their own provincial nomination. Manitoba has their own provincial nomination. Ontario have their own provincial nomination. There is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. There are lots of other programs. But what's important is I tell people, join the Express Entry pool first. They start looking for provincial nomination. In different provinces, some provinces will ask you to, have an expression of interest. Go to their province. Each province have their own website, provincial website, where they tell you what they want. Some of them require that you have a job in their province. Some of them require that you have a particular band of score in the General Express Entry pool first. Some of them require that you have a particular skill. Some of them require and all of that. So these are the various provincial nominations available, and it depends on what you want. So there are many that you can always explore. But join the Express Entry pool because at the end of the day, some of those provincial nominations, once they give you nomination, extra 600 points is added to your score. So whenever Canadian government does any pool, any draw, they must call you because 600 is already more than 400 and something that they want to call. So that's also very, very important for people who are interested in that. I understand that it's very, very competitive. Yes, I know that. But I mean, what's important is to check which one suits you. If you are more than 30 and 40, schooling is not age specific. That's why I emphasize more on schooling. Because if you're more than 30, 40, Even if you are more than 40, your score reduces if you are doing the British Columbia nomination. They have age range. All of these provinces, they have age range. Some people have age range. Some people have specific skills that they want. You may not have it, but schooling gives everybody equal leverage. Even if you are 40, 50, 50, 60, 55-year-old person can come and do a diploma in Canada, but that one requires money. So these are the economic ways of coming to Canada. Of course, Canada, you can come through humanitarian packages. You can do a federal skill trade where you have a particular skill in a particular area. A truck driver, if you are a teacher, if you are a nanny, there is what is called federal skilled trade. The one we are talking about is federal the skilled job. That one is the official one. There's one that requires you have a technical skill or a particular skill. That one is federal skill trade. That one has its own stuff separately, where you have to have some certificate of nomination from a particular province, or sometimes if you have it, you can even submit it to different places. So that these are basically the various ways of coming to Canada. Another one that is good is if you marry somebody who is a Canadian or who has but the person can just sponsor you. That's easier. Just marry somebody the person will just sponsor you, to come to Canada. And the people always say, if you want to do, what do we call it, refugee and all of that. When I don't support refugee, because I know that you can always come to Canada the right way. You don't have to do refugee and all of that and be claiming that your government, your country is doing this and that and all of that. You can come to school. I know the money is not easy. Come to school. From there, once you finish schooling, you can transit to permanent residency, depending, even if you are old and your score is high, you can go to other places after schooling, go and get a job there and do provincial nomination. So you can even do Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program and all that. So there are different pathways to come to Canada, but this is just the brief for people who are really interested. The renew rave now is people coming as a visitor.
I was going to ask you about that. Agents that we say visitors visa. And talk to us about that.
Yeah, so let me tell you the truth. I say the way it is. So Canadian government says on the website that you can turn a visitor's visa to either a study visa or work visa if, let's go to work. For work, you must get an LMIA job, labor market impact assessment. What it means is that an employer wants to employ somebody, the person has advertised it for 3 months, that's the minimum, on every social media available, physical, billboard, and there's nobody that can do that job in Canada except you, because you need that document, LMIA document. So from that, if you can get that LMIA certificate from any employer, then you can change your visiting visa to a work permit. And depending on the province you are, and once you get a work permit, you can now do either provincial nomination, depending on the provinces you are. You can do the normal express entry. You can do the Canadian experience class CEC for people who have 1 year experience, the federal express entry. You can do anything once you have a job and you have worked for in provinces like what do you call it, New Brunswick. Even if you are there for 6 months, you can apply for their provincial nomination, if depending on where you are. So it depends. In Nova Scotia, very, very nice, good province. Those ones are very different pathways for students, for people who have work experience, for people who have a particular skill and all of that. So that's for work. Or you can get LMIA exempt. There are jobs that don't require LMIA. They are LMIA exempt jobs. Most people who advertise are scammers. You need to be sure of the employer giving it to you. Some people sell it. I don't know them. Either they're selling it for you or not. Just be sure that it is correct and is real. That's what's important. That's one. So if you know that one is hard, because it is hard, people in Canada have not even gotten jobs. A lot of people are still jobless in this Canada. A lot of people are doing the normal jobs, the survival job, working in factory, working healthcare worker, because that job, you can do it and be okay and feed a whole family. And nobody will know. You become a big boy. Nobody cares, because dignity of labor, right? So that one is very important. That's for work. For school, and this is what I tell people more. apply for your admission before you leave Nigeria or wherever you are coming from. Get your admission letter. Apply for visa where you are coming from. This is on the Canadian government website. I will not say what is not there. If your visa is still processing, come to Canada as a visitor if you want. If your visa is approved while you are a visitor, you can go to any border. Canada has many borders. Go there and flagpole and get your study permit. Study permit is a document that shows that yes, you are eligible to study in Canada. That's what is called flagpoling, and it is legal in Canada. It's there. Go and verify. So I know a lot of people did it. It's not illegal. Why? Because most people usually make mistake. They think that once I come to Canada as a visitor, I can apply for admission in Canada. Apply for visa in Canada. You are forgetting that, especially if you come to Nigeria, if you're a Nigerian, you are still going to do biometrics, do health checks. China, Canada, where you will be visitor, now there you go do them. People always forget that fact. They think, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll do everything in Canada, and once it's approved. No, bros. It doesn't occur that way, because as a visitor, you are still treated as a Nigerian. You are still applying as any other person. The same way, even if you are here as a student and you are applying for Federal Express Entry, you are applying as any other person who is outside. Because when you are applying it, we ask you, are you coming? Do you have a spouse who is also coming to Canada with you? If you have a spouse, are you coming to Canada? They will ask you those questions because you are treated as somebody who is still outside. When your status now change and you get a PR, then you are now your Bible got the money.
You are now a son of the soil.
And I'm son of the soil. So this is very, very important. There are many people now coming to Canada as a what do you call it? As visitor. 99% of them are doing asylum. They will not tell you. Most of them are doing asylum. They will package it because people who are even here illegally, they find a way to find jobs that are paying them illegally
under the table.
You know, so either you choose to do it, it's not a problem, and it is not a crime. I want you to know that. But people who lie to people about it is my problem. If I want to do asylum, let me know that it's asylum I want to do, and I make up my mind. Tell me the truth. And then I know that I'm coming to Canada to do asylum. It's not a problem. It is not a crime. No. But for people who lie to you and you now later discover, it's my problem. Do you understand? There are many people who did asylum and they got their permanent residency card today. There are many people who are, what do you call them, who are citizens today. There are people who even came to Canada through these humanitarian services, like pastors. Canada announced it some time ago, and then you can come in different provinces and all of that. Yeah, so we just need to be careful of the kind of information we get. So this is just the truth and nothing but the truth.
Wow. So various pathways to go to Canada. The academic pathway you mentioned, federal skilled workers program, federal skilled trades program, the humanitarian program as well, provincial nomination programs. Then you can move through marriage and of course the refugee programs as well. You've helped more than 1,000 people. We've seen you all across social media. We've seen testimonials here and there. And I know that you still help people up to date. And people would have heard you speak. You've spoken about the truth. You've spoken about the different pathways. How can they contact you to help? You know, if they want to have a conversation about Canada, if they want you to help them, what are the services you render? How can people reach you?
All right. So our customer service for people in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, in number, we have a number that is always constant. Works from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Nigerian time. It's +234 8021 244599. If you are a Nigerian, let me call you Nigerian way. 080 21 24 4599. Again, 00 21 24 4599. That's our Japa Consult Customers Care Service. They are available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Friday. On social media, Oludiwon here, this name here, just go and look for it on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I dish a lot of information on admission, We have a Japa Consult company which is registered in Canada and in Nigeria. We help a lot of people come here via admission, scholarship, not even in Canada alone, and different ways. So Olu-D1 on Twitter. On Instagram, this same Olu-D1, but Olu_D1 on Instagram. You can follow me. I post almost every day. I copy from my Wakawaka doctor. It was one that gave me the ginger, to post and be consistent. So I post every day, especially on Twitter, on Instagram. On Facebook, we have Japa Consult. It's there on Facebook. On LinkedIn, there's also Japa Consult on LinkedIn. So it's Japa Consults. So you will see us there. On YouTube, is Japa with D1. On YouTube can follow my YouTube channel, Japa, normal Japa, Japa with D1. Just search for it and follow. So these are the various ways you can meet us. On Twitter, you can send us DM. Once you follow me, Olu-D1, you see our business page on my profile, Japa Consult. Once you click, you can send DM to our Japa Consult Twitter handle. We are available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. On Instagram to Japa Consult. These are places where you can send DMs directly and you will get your response. Also,
answer.
Yes. So on our email address is hello@japaconsult.com. That one is available. hello@japaconsult.com. That's our email address if you want to ask, questions and all of that. Our website, www.japaconsult.com. These are places where you can meet us. So we have different programs, we have different packages, we have the WhatsApp group. If you want to learn about it, if you want to learn about how Japa work, you yourself, and you want to do it, you have a WhatsApp group. We have comprehensive package where we can help you do everything from A to Z. We have the consultations where you can have consultations with me to ask me your questions anywhere you want to move to. So from there, where my guys should just take it from there, and then you can, arrange a meeting with you and I. That's where we can meet.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much for coming. So there you go, guys. If Canada is your destination point, you've heard all the different pathways. And of course, if you have other questions you want to ask about moving abroad, you can reach out to him on all those details he has shared on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, email, on the phone numbers as well. Thank you very much for coming, D1. It's been a pleasure recording this with you.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm hoping that we can continue to share this information to as many people that want it. All right. Yes. And to everybody who's watched this show, till I see you again in another video, another episode. This is your one and only Waka Waka Doctor, and I'm signing out now. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.